tell you could change your life forever. Have you heard things like the paleo diet, the caveman diet, the Paleolithic nutrition? Are you a skeptic who is quick to dismiss the latest fad diet, thinking that it is exactly that, a fad? Well, the paleo diet is based on scientific evidence and experimentation. It's simple to implement into your everyday life. There are no prepackaged meals, there is no standing on the scale. In fact, your weight is pretty much meaningless. And there's no monthly fees except for the cost of the foods that you buy. If you or anyone else suffer from things like diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, osteoporosis, autoimmune disease, acne, depression, just to name a few slight changes to your diet could be the difference between life and death. I've been personally following a paleo diet for the past 2 years, and I've read many books on the subject. I have seen improvements in my own life. I feel and I perform better than I have ever before in things like workouts at the gym. And moreover, I have kept a consistent weight for over a year now, and I've constantly been putting on more and more muscle mass. So in this very abbreviated discussion, I am going to explain the paleo diet's origination, its basic principles, and what a paleo meal looks like. So let's get to it. Where did the paleo diet come from? To summarize, Dr. Lauren Cordain, who is known as the world's leading expert on Paleolithic diets and the founder of the paleo movement, he explains it basically as mimicking the diet of our Paleolithic ancestors. So the Paleolithic ancestors that I'm talking about lived from 2.6 million years ago up until about 10,000 years ago, at which time the agricultural revolution started. So basically they eat whole foods from the food groups that they would have had access to at that time. Dr. Boyd Eaton, who is one of the foremost authorities on Paleolithic diets, argues that our genes are virtually identical to the genes of those Paleolithic ancestors, but our current diet is completely different than what they ate back in their life. So what's more is that caveman, although they had shorter average lifespans, they had almost zero instances of the things that plague our society, like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, cancer, and they were most physically capable as the Olympians, like the Olympians that we see. So Eaton and Cordain, they say that this mismatch between our ancient genetic makeup and our contemporary lifestyle have led to the development of modern disease, as our bodies are not equipped to handle the foods that we are putting into them on a daily basis. So what exactly are our bodies designed to eat? That's the question. Mainly fresh, lean, preferably grass-fed meats, fish, seafood, fruits, vegetables, a little bit of nuts, seeds, and healthy oils. So basically what I'm explaining is that these are all the foods when you go to the grocery store that are along the outside edge. What am I not mentioning? Basically everything else in the middle. That's all the foods that weren't readily available or didn't exist before 10,000 years ago. This is like cereal grains, legumes, refined sugars, processed foods, and dairy products, to name a few. Without the modern processing techniques, you can't really eat grains. The grain itself is the reproductive part of the plant. It's designed to deter animals and humans from eating them by damaging the insides of your intestines, so that next time you think about it, you're not going to eat them. In addition, the vitamins and the minerals that are found commonly in cereals and grains are not part of the grain itself, but are added in the fortification process, like vitamin D, fiber, whatever. It would seem as though there's hardly enough food left to comprise a healthy diet once you take out the grains and the legumes and the sugars and the processed foods, but Rob Wolf demonstrates that a modern paleo diet not only meets but exceeds all of the dietary recommendations for vitamins and minerals. For example, vegetables contain 8 times more fiber than whole grains and 31 times more fiber than refined grains, and fruits contain twice as much fiber as whole grains and 7 times more fiber than refined grains, from Dr. Lauren Cordain's research. So, what does a paleo meal look like? It's actually a lot simpler than it seems. For myself, breakfast is usually eggs or egg whites with some sort of protein like nitrate-free, minimally processed bacon, chicken sausage, or smoked salmon, for instance, as well as a healthy portion of fruit. And then my lunches and dinners are pretty similar. So that's usually a hearty portion of lean meats or seafood or fish with a bunch of vegetables. Rule of thumb I took from Jillian Michaels, who's a fitness guru, is that if the food did not come from the ground or it did not have a mother, you shouldn't eat it. So think about the foods that you've eaten today and how they qualify. I've hardly scratched the surface, but hopefully I've challenged you to rethink your current diet practices. Modern agricultural practices, although they've enabled us to sustain a population of 7 billion people, have also wreaked havoc on our bodies in the form of heart disease, hypertension, and the list goes on and on and on. So, eating paleo, it means shopping along the edge of the grocery store, staying away from the middle, just forgetting about that altogether. Don't waste your time. And the diet is pretty simple and straightforward. If we try to mimic our Paleolithic ancestors by eating the foods that our genes were designed to have, then we can see the freedom from diseases that plague this country. If you want to learn more, I challenge you just to Bing paleo or Google paleo. It'll keep you busy for months, as it did me. Or better yet, you could just take the 30-day Rob Wolf challenge and try it out for yourself, see how you feel. Thank you.